Vice Minister of Education of the Kyrgyz Republic, Jusubekova Nadira Sintasheva. Communications Counselor at the Embassy of the Republic of Turkey in Bishkek, Mr. Ramazan Akzeybek.
Azerbaycan İntelektüel Mektepleri Autonomiyalı Gündeli Uyumu Başkanlığı Төрағасы Urmatlu Anwar Jangozin.
Chairperson of the Board of Autonomous Educational Organization Nazarbayev Intellectual Schools, Republic of Kazakhstan, Mr. Anwar Jangozin.
Kırgız Türk Manası Üniversitesi'nin rektörü Urmatlu Profesör Dr. Alparslan Ceylan.
Rector of the Kyrgyz Turkish Manas University, Professor Dr. Alparslan Ceylan.
Türkiye Marif Otonom Direktörler Kengişi müçesi Urmatlu Profesör Dr. Ahmet Türkmen.
Member of the Board of Directors of the Turkish Marif Foundation, Professor Dr. Ahmet Türkmen.
Alatoy Aralыk Üniversitesi'nin rektörü Profesör Urmatlu Nazira Esenaliyeva.
Rector of Alatoy University, Professor Nazira Esenaliyeva.
Urmatlu konoktor, kadrolu bayandamacılar, ardaklı muallimler, süyüklü katışuşlar jana önümdöштөр. Lesson Study konferensiyasına hoş geldinizler.
Distinguished guests, honorable speakers, respected educators, dear participants and valued partners. It is a real pleasure to welcome you here to the Lesson Study Conference.
Bugün biz bu жерде bir gana bilim berүүчүлөр катары эмес, bir максаттын айланасында бириккен кесипкөй адистер жамааты катары кызматташуу, жаңы идеяларды бөлүшүү, тажрыйба алмашуу аркылуу окутуунун жана үйрөтүүнүн сапатын дагы жогорулатуу үчүн чогулуп отурабыз. Бул конференция бир канча өлкөлөрдөн келген мыкты адистердин, тажрыйбалуу педагогдордун башын бириктирет. Бул иш-чарага катышып жатканыңыздар билим берүү тармагындагы өнүгүүгө кызыктар экениңиздерди жана эл аралык кызматташтыкка болгон жылуу мамилеңиздерди көрсөтөт.
Today, we are here not just as educators, but as a community of professionals who share common purpose to improve the quality of teaching and learning through collaboration, reflection, and innovation. This conference brings together experts, practitioners, and policymakers from different countries and institutions. Your presence here reflects a strong commitment to educational development and international cooperation.
Бүгүнкү талкуулар, баяндамалар жана пикир алмашуулар жаңы идеяларды жаратып, кызматташтыкты бекемдеп, класстарыбызда маанилүү өзгөрүүлөргө өбөлгө түзөрүнө ишенебиз. Дагы бир жолу кош келиңиздер, ушул маанилүү иш-чарага келгениңиздер үчүн ыраазычылыгыбызды билдиребиз.
We hope today's sessions, presentations, and exchange will inspire new ideas, strengthen partnerships, and contribute to meaningful change in our classrooms. Once again, welcome and thank you for being part of this important event.
Программабызды расмий түрдө баштоо үчүн Кыргыз Республикасынын мамлекеттик гимни жаңырат.
To officially begin our program, we kindly invite you to stand for the national anthem of the Kyrgyz Republic.
Karşılıklı ilgili soruşturma alınmamızı.
Thanks a lot.
Türkiye Marifonlu'nun misyası, jana globalдык tasiri turалы kengere түшүнүк берүү максатында кыска tanıtуу videonu көрүүгө чакырабыз.
Now, to provide a broader perspective on the mission and global impact of the Turkish Mavi Foundation, we invite you to watch a short video presentation.
Every child grows up with the same question: who will I become? This question has no borders, echoing in every land, in every language. Some dream of uncovering the universe's mysteries. Others hope to touch hearts with a single melody. And many believe they can change the world with nothing but words. But learning is not a straight path. It is filled with trials, wrong turns, and setbacks. It takes courage to try again. As Turkish Mavi Foundation, we walk beside thousands of children, over 500 schools across 64 countries, offering safe, inspiring, and value-driven environments. One shared hope unites all Mavi students to heal the world. Sometimes a small moment becomes the beginning of a lifelong journey, a spark of light, a rhythm in a young heart, a question that blossoms into wonder. These are the first seeds of confidence and courage. Working for a world where every child has the courage to ask. Turkish Mavi Foundation.
Bilim берүү бул жай гана маалымат эмес. Бул маданият, өздүк иденттүүлүк жана мурас болуп саналат. Бул байлыкты даңазолоо максатында өлкөнүн маданий рухун чагылдырган салттуу аткарууга сиздерди чакырабыз. Кыл-кыяк кыргыздын улуттук музыкалык аспаптарын бири. Бир гана кыргыздын чыгармаларын эмес, ар улуттун, ар маданияттын чыгармаларында чагылдырып бере алат. Uzun ince bir yoldayım çıkarmasını atkарып берүү үчүн сахнага Кыргыз Республикасынын эмгек сиңирген артисти Касымова Заминайды чакырып алалы.
Education is not only about knowledge, it's about culture, identity, and heritage. To celebrate this richness, we are delighted to present a traditional performance that reflects the cultural spirit of the region. The kilkayak is one of the national musical instruments of the Kyrgyz people, and it can reflect not only Kyrgyz works, but also works of different nations and cultures. Next up is the work Uzun Birince Yoldayım. Please welcome the honored artist of the Republic, Zalina Kasimova, for the kilkayak performance.
Кыргыз Республикасынын эмгек сиңирген артисти Касымова Залилаевга ыраазычылык билдиребиз.
Thank you for the music.
Урматтуу конокторубуз, билим берүү, кызматташтык жана листинг стадий сыяктуу демилгелердин маанилүүлүгү тууралуу ой пикирлерин бөлүшө турган ачылыш сөздөрүнө өтөбүз.
We will now proceed with our official opening speeches, where our distinguished guests will share their respective perspectives on education, collaboration, and the importance of initiatives such as lesson studies.
Алгачкы сөз Кыргыз Республикасынын агартуу министринин орун басары урматтуу Жусупбекова Надира Сынташевнага берилет.
We welcome the Vice Minister of Education of the Kyrgyz Republic, Nadira Jusupbekova.
Саламатсыздарбы, урматтуу Lesson Study аралык конференциянын катышуучулары, урматтуу коноктор, конокторду өзүнчө ар бирөөнү атап өтпөсөк болбойт, туура эмес болуп калат. Бул Шизуока чыгармачылык жана маданият университетинин профессору, урматтуу мырза ТЦО Курамото, Мацуяма университетинин профессору Брюс Ландер, Назарбаев интеллектуалдык мектептери автономиялык билим берүү уюму башкармалыгынын төрагасы Ануар Жангозин мырза, Назарбаев интеллектуалдык мектептери автономиялык билим берүү уюмунун төрагасынын орун басары Жангота Кабдыкаримова айым, Назарбаев университетинин профессору Бюшөн Шаматов биздин жектеш Бюшөн мырза, Түркия Мари фондунун директорлор кеңешинин мүчөсү Ахмет Туркбен мырза, Түркия Республикасынын Бишкектеги элчилигинин байланыш иштери боюнча кеңешчиси Рамазан Акзайбек мырза жана биздин Бишкекте дайыма туруктуу иштеген Түркия Мари фондунун Кыргызстандагы өкүлү Хусню Берджан мырза. Кош келиңиздер, коноктор, алыскы Япониядан келген, жакынкы коңшубуз Казакстан өлкөбүздөн келген, жана биздин Кыргызстандагы эң алдыңкы биздин профессорлор, методисттер, практиктер, мугалимдер. Кыргызда бир жакшы сөз бар. Өзүң абдан өнүк, дайыма окуу, дайыма эмгектен, билим берүүдө өзгөчө. Күнүгө, жылына системалуу эмгектенип отуруп, бир 11-15 жылда бир жакшы бир жемишке келебиз. Эгерде күнүгө эмгектенсек. Анан өзүңдүн эле казаныңда кайнай берген дагы болбойт. Өзүбүз Кыргызстандын арасында, мектептин ичинде, анан райондо, анан шаарда, анан областтар менен тажрыйба алмашып, анан башка өлкөлөр менен дагы тажрыйба албашпасак, биз баягы дүйнөлүк билим берүү системасы кайсы жака баратат, алдыңкы практикалар кандайча өзгөрдү, эң жемиштүү, эң эффективдүү методика кандай болуп атат, ошондон дагы маалыматсыз калышыбыз мүмкүн. Ошон үчүн бирибиз абдан үйрөнүп, эң жакшы алдыңкы практикаларды алып, практикада күнүгө колдонуп, балдарыбыздын келечегине жакшы бир шарттарды түзүп, өзгөчө азыркы дүйнөдө күнүгө технологиялар абдан тез өнүгүп жаткандыктан, күнүгө кандайдыр бир чоң проблемалар адамзаттын алдында туруп, аларды климатты карайбызбы, башка багыттарды карайбызбы, биз билим берүү авангард болушубуз керек дагы, балдарды эң заманбап билимдер менен камсыздашыбыз керек болуп атат. Ошондуктан бүгүнкү ушул биздин Ала Тоо университетинде өтүп жаткан эл аралык конференциябыз абдан жемиштүү өтсүн. 500-төй катышуучубуз, анын көпчүлүгү Кыргызстандагы биздин практиктер, мугалимдер, окумуштууларыбыз. Ошон үчүн абдан жакшы пикир алмашып, тажрыйба алмашып, балдарыбыз үчүн, Кыргызстандын келечеги үчүн абдан жакшы, ийгиликтүү бүгүн иштеп берели. Анан абдан чоң ыраазычылык алыскы ушу Япониядан, жакынкы коңшубуз Казакстандан, анан Мари фондуна ушунча аябай шарт түзүп, мугалимдер балгерлерибизди окутуп ошо Кыргызстандын билим берүү системасына кошуп жаткан салымыңыздар үчүн чоң рахмат. Жакшы өтсүн, ийгиликтүү өтсүн. Эртең Кудай буйруса биздин агартуу министрибиз доктор Ушашевна дагы абдан аракет кылып сиздердин биздин конференцияга келгенге дагы аракет кылат. Анда эмесе ак жол, конференция жакшы өтсүн.
Кыргыз Республикасынын агартуу министринин орун басары урматтуу Жусупбекова Надира Сынташевнага терең ыраазычылыгыбызды билдиребиз. Кийинки сөз кезеги Казакстан Республикасынын Назарбаев интеллектуалдык мектептери автономиялык билим берүү уюмунун башкарманын төрагасы Анвар Жангозин мырзага берилет.
Next, we welcome a chairperson of the board of Autonomous Educational Organization, Nazarbayev Intellectual Schools, Republic of Kazakhstan, Mr. Anwar Jangozin.
Рахмет. Сәлеметсіздер ме, құрметті әріптестер, осындай беделді маңызды конференцияға қатысып отырғаныма өте қуаныштымын. Барлықтарыңызға сәттілік тілеймін. So, dear colleagues, dear friends, let me begin with my own observations, visiting different schools in different countries, not only in Kazakhstan, but in other parts of the world. I, by myself, witnessed that, in general, many teachers, they are eager to use research in their daily practice in classroom. However, too often research is, it feels distant, complex, and abstract and disconnected from everyday teacher's practice. That is why the voice of practitioners, actually, and professional judgment of teachers is so important. And today's conference is a powerful example of this shift. Kazakhstan has taken a deliberate step in this direction. We are proud to be the first country in the post-Soviet space where teachers' research is supported at the system level. Since 2012, our approach of professional development has been built on a simple idea. Professional teacher is not only practitioner, but also researcher. We have introduced lesson study and action research across schools. And through the Center of Excellence of Nazarbayev Intellectual Schools, we have prepared research trainers almost for every school in our country. This systematic work has opened doors internationally. In 2015, Kazakhstan joined the World Association of Lesson Study. Since then, we have been not only learning, but also contributing and sharing our experience. And hopefully in 2024, we hosted the World Conference at the first time in Astana, where we had practitioners from 25 countries, over 700 people participating in this wonderful conference. And importantly, this movement is becoming more inclusive nowadays. More and more teachers from rural schools are joining this research community. Last year, for the first time, 14 rural schools from Kazakhstan participated in World Conference in Hiroshima, and 11 of their studies were published on the Cambridge resource called CAM3, which is a very popular resource for practice-based research papers. Yeah, so we're proud to have our rural teachers presenting on this source. This is not just participation, it is about empowering new voices to create knowledge in education. But let me highlight one important point. Research in education cannot be something done to teachers or above teachers. It actually must be done with teachers. So otherwise teachers receive answers to questions they never asked and solutions to problems they never had. That is why our focus today is not only on individual initiatives, but on building an environment where teachers develop research skills, where they can share and publish their work, and where professional dialogue becomes part of everyday practice. Dear colleagues, in a rapidly changing world, quality in education is not only about achieving results. It is about the ability to adapt, reflect, and grow. As Lawrence Stenhouse once said, research is a way of solving problems through understanding them deeply. And in that sense, every teacher is already a researcher. We ask questions, we test ideas, we learn from our own practice, and perhaps the most important question we ask ourselves is, how do I know I'm doing the right thing? There is now no simple answer, but there is a path of inquiry, reflection, and continuous learning. I wish all of us inspiration, courage, and meaningful dialogue on this journey. It's great that this conference actually unites efforts of 3 countries. Kyrgyzstan, which hosts this wonderful conference, Turkey, which provides support in the development of new initiatives in different countries, and Kazakhstan, which actually is eager to share experience in different areas, and lesson studies, probably one of the most important areas which can benefit on a system level. Yeah, so we are happy to provide our support in this, and I wish luck to all of you in the direction of further development. Thank you.
Kийинки söz кезеги Түркия Маариф фондунун директорлор кеңешинин мүчөсү урматтуу Ахмет Түркпенди сахнага чакырабыз.
It is now my pleasure to invite the member of the board of directors of the Turkish Mari Foundation, Mr. Ahmet Türkben.
Sayın Bakanlık temsilcileri, kıymetli eğitim yöneticileri, değerli öğretmenler ve saygıdeğer misafirler. Öncelikle her birinizi hürmetle, muhabbetle selamlıyorum.
Distinguished representatives of the ministry, esteemed educational leaders, valued teachers, and honored guests. First and foremost, I extend my respectful greetings to you all.
Kıymetli misafirler, eğitim sistemlerinin sürdürülebilir başarısında en belirleyici unsurun öğretmen niteliği olduğu artık açık bir şekilde görülüyor. Bu sebeple Türkiye Maarif Vakfı olarak öğretmen eğitimini yardımcı bir alan olarak değil, doğrudan stratejik bir öncelik olarak ele alıyoruz. Öğretmenlerimizin yalnızca bilgi aktaran kişiler olarak değil, öğrenmeyi yöneten, öğrencinin potansiyelini fark edip geliştiren, onun gönül dünyasına temas eden rehberler olmalarını önemsiyoruz. Bizim için öğretmen, öğrencisini tanıyan, şahsiyetinin gelişimine eşlik eden ve her çocuğun farklı bir ihtiyacı, farklı bir dili, farklı bir öğrenme kapısı bulunduğunu bilen eğitim öncüsüdür. Bu anlayış doğrultusunda öğretmen-öğrenci ilişkisinin ders saatiyle sınırlı kalmaması gerektiğinden hareketle öğrencinin koridorda, bahçede, etkinliklerde ve rehberlik süreçlerinde fark edildiği bir okul iklimi esas alıyoruz.
It is now clearly evident that the most decisive factor in the sustainable success of education systems is the quality of teachers. For this reason, as the Turkish Maarif Foundation, we do not regard teacher training as a subsidiary field, but rather as a direct strategic priority. We add great importance to our teachers, not merely as the transmitters of knowledge, but as the guides who facilitate learning, recognize and develop the potential of each student, and touch their inner world. To us, a teacher, an educational pioneer who knows their students, accompanies their personal development, understands that each child has unique needs, a distinct language, and different pathway of learning. In line with this understanding, we believe that the teacher-student relationship should not be confined to the classroom hours alone. Instead, we uphold a school climate in which students are noticed and supported in corridors, schoolyards, activities, and guidance processes alike.
Saygıdeğer katılımcılar, eğitimin yalnızca akla hitap etmesi yeterli görülmemelidir. Çocuğun kalbini, duygularını ve iç dünyasını gözeten bir yaklaşım eğitimin asli boyutlarından biridir. Öğrencinin iç dünyası ihmal edildiğinde, milli ve manevi duygular zayıfladığında, kalbi besleyen terbiye halkaları gevşediğinde her yerde bir çözülme, bir savrulma yaşanacaktır. Aile, eğitimin ilk ocağı olma vasfını güçlü biçimde sürdüremediğinde, çocuk ev ile okul arasında bütünlüğünü korumakta zorlanacaktır. Akran etkileşimi, refakat ve kardeşlik iklimi üretemediğinde, nesil aynı anda baskı altında kalacaktır. Dijital kuşatma, sınırlandırılmadığında akıl, kalp, inanç her şey rehin alınacaktır. Özgürlük anlayışı, ölçü, sorumluluk ve aidiyetle dengelenmediğinde kişi kendini merkeze alan bencil eğilimlere daha açık hale gelecektir.
Distinguished participants, education should not be seen as an addressing only to the intellect. An approach that considers the child's hurt, emotions, and inner world constitutes one of the essential dimensions of the education. When the inner world of the students is neglected, when national and moral values weaken, and when the formative structures that nurture the hurt begin to loosen, a process of disintegration and grief emerges across all spheres. When the family cannot effectively sustain its roles as the primary foundation of education, children struggle to maintain coherence between home and school. When peer interaction fails to generate an environment of the companionship and solidarity, exclusion, bullying, and loneliness increase. When the digital sphere is left unregulated, the mind, hurt, faith, and the younger generation are simultaneously placed under pressure. Attention fragments and privacy is compromised. When the concept of freedom is not balanced with measure, responsibility, and the sense of belonging, individuals become more susceptible and self-centered tendencies.
Bu çerçevede öğrencinin sadece akademik performansını değil, duygusal halini ve şahsiyet gelişiminde dikkatle izleyen bir okul kültürünü önemsiyoruz. Sessiz kalan, içe çekilen, dışlanan yahut taşkın davranışlar sergileyen öğrencilerin zamanında fark edilmesini, mümkün kılan ilgi ve temas mekanizmalarının güçlenmesini gerekli görüyoruz. Soru sormanın teşvik edildiği, hakikati arayan, anlamı derinleştiren ve sorumluluk duygusu taşıyan bir düşünme terbiyesinin eğitim ortamında yer bulmasını kıymetli buluyoruz. Buna karşılık her şeyi değersizleştiren ölçüsüz itirazların düşünceyi sığlaştıran bir savrulmaya yol açtığının da farkındayız. Aynı şekilde öğrencilerimizin yalnızca kendi başarısına odaklanan fertler olarak değil, akranlarıyla birlikte başarmayı önemseyen, işbirliği yapabilen ve ortak sorumluluk üstlenebilen bir anlayışla yetişmesini hedefliyoruz.
Within this framework, we place strong emphasis on a school culture that carefully observes not only students' academic performance, but also their emotional well-being and character development. We consider it essential to strengthen mechanisms of attention and engagement that enable the timely recognition of students who remain silent, withdraw, feel excluded, or display disruptive behaviors. We value the presence of an educational environment in which questioning is encouraged and where discipline of thought that seeks truth, depends meaning, and carries a sense of responsibility can flourish. At the same time, we are aware that unrestrained objections that render everything meaningless may lead to the superficial erosion of thought. Likewise, we aim to raise our students not merely as individuals focused on their own success, but as people who value collective achievement and can collaborate effectively and assume shared responsibility. We find it necessary for the language of the school to move away from a tone that intimidates, excludes, or labels, and instead adopt a character that is reassuring, inclusive, and restorative. But also regard teaching not as a temporary stepping stone before transition to other roles, but a fundamental profession at the very heart of nurturing human beings on whose value must be preserved and whose dignity must be elevated.
Bu doğrultuda yürüttüğümüz çalışmalar dünyanın 64 ülkesinde 600'den fazla eğitim kurumuyla devam ediyor. Çok katmanlı ve sürdürülebilir bir mesleki gelişim modeline dayanıyor bütün öğretmen eğitimi yaklaşımımız. Türkiye Maarif Vakfı olarak sistematik uzaktan eğitim programlarıyla öğretmenlerimizin ve eğitim yöneticilerimizin sürekli öğrenme süreçlerini destekliyoruz. Yılda en az bir kez tüm idareci ve öğretmenlerimize yönelik genel katılımlı eğitim programları düzenliyor. Bunun yanında bölgesel ihtiyaçları ve branş bazlı farklılaşmaları gözeten eğitimlere mesleki gelişimi daha derinlikli bir zemine taşıyoruz. Her öğretmenimizin yılda en az 50 saat kendi gelişimine yönelik eğitimlere katılımını teşvik ederek öğrenmeyi görevle sınırlı bir faaliyet olarak değil, mesleki hayatın ayrılmaz bir parçası olarak görüyoruz. Uluslararası eğitim programlarına katılımı destekleyerek öğretmenlerimizi küresel eğitim yaklaşımlarıyla buluşturuyor, okul içinde ise lesson study gibi yöntemlerle ortak planlama, uygulama analizi ve meslektaş öğrenmesini güçlendiriyoruz. Çünkü biliyoruz ki öğretmen gelişimi en güçlü biçimde birbirinden öğrenen, birlikte düşünen, birlikte üreten eğitim kadrolarıyla derinlik kazanıyor.
The work we carry out in this direction is based on a multi-layered and sustainable model of professional development. As the Turkey Marif Foundation, we support the continuous learning processes of our teachers and education administrators through systematic distance education programs. At least once a year, we organize comprehensive training programs open to all administrators and teachers. In addition, we deliver region-specific and subject-based training that makes into account local needs and disciplinary differences, thereby depending professional development. By encouraging each of our teachers to participate at least 50 hours of professional development annually, we consider learning not as an activity limited to duty, but as an integral part of professional life. We support participation in international education programs to connect our teachers with the global educational approaches. Within schools, we strengthen collaborative planning, lesson analysis, and peer learning through methods such as lesson study. We firmly believe that the teacher development gains its greatest depth through educational communities that learn from one another, think together, and produce collectively.
Kıymetli katılımcılar, Nazarbayev okulları ile gerçekleştirdiğimiz işbirliğinin de son derece kıymetli olduğunu ifade etmek isterim. Bu işbirliği iki kurumun ortak bir etkinlik düzenlemesinin ötesinde bölgesel ölçekte bilgi ve tecrübe paylaşımının kapılarını aralıyor. Farklı ülkelerden gelen eğitimcilerin aynı masa etrafında buluşması, farklı öğretim yöntemlerinin, sınıf içi uygulamaların ve eğitim yaklaşımlarının karşılıklı olarak değerlendirilmesini mümkün kılıyor. Bu sinerji yalnızca öğretmenlerimizin mesleki gelişimine katkı sunmakla kalmayacak, aynı zamanda bölgemizde eğitim kalitesinin ortak bir vizyon etrafında yükselmesine de zemin hazırlayacaktır.
Distinguished participants, I would like to emphasize that our cooperation with Nazarbayev schools is one of the great significance. This collaboration goes beyond organizing a joint event. It opens the door to the sharing of knowledge and experience at the regional scale. Bringing together educators from different countries around the same table enables the mutual evaluation of diverse teaching methods, classroom practices, and educational approaches. This synergy would not only contribute to the professional development of our teachers, but also lay the groundwork for elevating the quality of education in our region around a shared vision.
Öte yandan Kırgız Cumhuriyeti Milli Eğitim Bakanlığı'nın Türkiye Marif Vakfı okullarına sağladığı güçlü destek bu çalışmaların en önemli dayanaklarından biridir. Bakanlığın yapıcı yaklaşımı, açık iletişimi ve eğitim niteliğini artırmaya yönelik işbirliğine verdiği önem bizler için son derece kıymetlidir. Bu destek sayesinde yalnızca kurumsal olarak değil, eğitim ekosisteminin bir parçası olarak da hareket edebiliyor. Kırgızistan'ın eğitim hedeflerine katkı sunma sorumluluğunu daha güçlü şekilde üstleniyoruz.
On the other hand, the strong support provided by the Ministry of Education of the Kyrgyz Republic to Turkish Marif Foundation schools constitutes one of the most important pillars of these efforts. The ministry's constructive approach, open communication, and emphasis on cooperation aimed at improving the quality of education are the great value to us. Thanks to this support, we are able to act not only as an institution, but also as an integral part of the educational ecosystem and to assume more effectively our responsibility to contribute to Kyrgyzstan's educational goals.
Bizler de Türkiye Marif Vakfı olarak bu güvene ve işbirliğine layık olmak adına öğretmenlerimizin gelişimini desteklemeye, uluslararası işbirliklerini artırmaya ve Kırgızistan'daki tüm öğrenciler için daha nitelikli bir eğitim ortamı oluşturmaya kararlılıkla devam edeceğiz.
At the Turkish Marif Foundation, we remain firmly committed to proving worthy of this trust and cooperation by continuing to support the development of our teachers, expanding international partnership, and creating a higher quality educational environment for all students in Kyrgyzstan.
Bu vesileyle bu anlamlı konferansın yalnızca bir etkinlik olarak kalmayıp kalıcı işbirliklerine, yeni fikirlerin doğmasına ve güçlü bir eğitim ağı oluşmasına katkı sunmasını temenni ediyor. Hepinize saygı ve sevgilerimi sunuyorum.
On this occasion, I sincerely hope that this meaningful conference will go beyond being merely an event and will contribute to lasting collaboration and the emergence of new ideas and the establishment of a strong educational network. Respect and best regards. Thank you very much.
Урматтуу Ахмет Түркпен мырзага ыраазычылык билдиребиз.
Thank you, Mr. Turkben, for being with us today.
Сөз Ала Тоо эл аралык университетинин ректору профессор урматтуу Назира Эсеналиевага берилет.
And finally, we invite Professor Nazira Esenalieva, Rector of Alato University.
Урматтуу коноктор, урматтуу кесиптештер, Ала Тоо эл аралык университетине кош келиңиздер. Бүгүнкү күнү бүткүл дүйнөдө билим берүү тармагында олуттуу сыноолор болуп, чоң өзгөрүүлөргө душар болуп, ошол эле арасында Кыргызстанда дагы бир нече чоң чакырыктар жана өзгөрүүлөр болуп атат. Окутуу технологиялары гана эмес, жалпы билим берүү философиясы, мугалимдердин ролу жана окуучулар менен иштешүү ыкмалары да өзгөрүүдө. Бүгүн баарыбыз дал ушул себептен чогулуп, бүгүн ошо lesson study ыкмаларын талкуулоонун үстүндө мен ойлойм, баарыбызга тең абдан маанилүү, маңыздуу конференция болот деп. Бүгүнкү конференциянын өзгөчө баалуулугу ага катышкан абройлуу эл аралык эксперттер, окумуштар жана практиктердин салымында. Силердин изилдөөңөр жана таржыйбаңар заманбап билим берүү тармагында кандай багытта өнүктүрүүнү аныктап, келечектеги пайдалуулун түзөт деп ишенебиз. Мындай олуттуу демилгени колдоп, уюштурганы үчүн, ошондой эле бул жерде күчтүү эл аралык кесипкөй коомчулуктун башын бириктире алган үчүн Мари фондуна чын дилимен ыраазычылык билгизем жана Назарбаев School'дун ушул бүгүнкү катышкан биздин конокторго да сиздерге чоң ыраазычылык билгизем. Ала Тоо эл аралык университети үчүн бул конференциянын аянча болуусу сыймык гана эмес, чоң жоопкерчилик. Кесиптештердин диалогуна мейкиндик түзүп берип, окутуу менен билим берүүнүн жаңы маданиятын калыптандырууга салым кошуу биздин башкы жоопкерчилигибиз. Баарыңарга жемиштүү иш, мазмундуу талкууларды, дымактуу идеялар менен жаңы кесиптик байланыштарды каалайм. Кош келиңиздер. Бул конференция жөн гана окуя эмес, билим берүү жаатында чыныгы өзгөрүүлөргө карай ташталган чоң кадам болсун. Кош келиңиздер.
Ала Тоо эл аралык университетинин ректору урматтуу Назира Эсеналиева айымга жылуу пикирлери жана бүгүнкү иш-чараны уюштуруда өзгөчө колдоосу үчүн ыраазычылык билдиребиз.
Thank you, madam, for your speech and for hosting today's event.
Көңүлүңүздөрдү Сапат эл аралык билим берүү мекемесинин мектеп жана лицейлерин тааныткан кыска бир видео көрүүгө чакырабыз.
Now, we invite you to watch a short presentation introducing schools of Sapat International Educational Institution and their work in the field of education.
Жаңыртылган класстар, күчтүү мугалимдер жамааты, заманбап технологиялык жабдыктар жана окуучулар үчүн түзүлгөн мүмкүнчүлүктөр. сапат эл аралык билим берүү мекемелеринде кандай өзгөрүүлөр болгонун көрүү үчүн экран алдына чакырабыз. Билим берүү тармагындагы инновациялар жетекчилердин чечкиндүүлүгүнүн артынан ишке ашууда. Мариф фонду Кыргызстандын билим берүүсүнө жаңы дем жана заманбап көрүнүш киргизди. 15тен ашык мектеп масштабдуу оңдоп түзөөдөн өттү. Чатырды жаңыртуудан баштап жылытуу системасына чейин, жатаканадан тартып спорт залдарына чейин, лабораториялардан тарта класстарга чейин ар бир деталь заманбап талаптарга ылайык жаңыланды. Класстар акыркы үлгүдөгү интерактивдүү такталар, компьютерлер менен жабдылып, заманбап окуу жайына айланды. Бүгүнкү күндө окуучулар санариптик материалдарга оңой жетип, интерактивдүү окуу ыкмаларын колдонушууда. Китепканалар Кембридждин өзгөчө окутуу китептери жана эл аралык булактары менен толукталып, окуучулар үчүн дүйнөлүк деңгээлдеги билимге жол ачылды. Миллиард сомго чейин сарпталган бюджет бул окуучулардын келечегине жумшалган инвестиция. Бүгүнкү күндө бул имараттарда билимге умтулган, баалуулуктарды урматтаган, мээримдүүлүк менен тарбияланган муун өсүп келе жатат. Балдардын өнүгүүсүндөгү ар бир аспектини эске алуу менен түзүлгөн жаркыраган класстарда окуучулар мыкты билим ала алышат жана алар кыялданган келечекке жетүү үчүн кадам сайын кадам жасашат. Биз Сапат эл аралык билим берүү мекемеси үй бүлө катары ар бир жаңыланууну окуучулардын шыктануусуна арнадык. Эми сөз кезеги аларда.
My name is Pumanbay Vakbar and I'm a current student at 11th engineering grade. So I came here at 7th grade and I came to the school because my parents heavily advised it. So I currently speak at 4 languages. Those are Russian, English, Kyrgyz, and Turkish. Regarding me, I recently opened my own startup pitching battle. It was called Startup Expo and we held it in our girls lyceum. So I am currently planning to apply to many universities such as in USA and in the United Kingdom.
Ошо бул жака келгенден бери өзүмдүн робототехника тарабынан көргөз алдым. Республикалык деңгээлде таймаштарга барып, ал жерден коло медаль, серебро жана ошондой эле алтын медальдарды утуп жүрдүк. Менин оюмча бул лицейдин эң жакшы жерлеринин бири бул кругозору аябай чоңойт. Анткени бул жерден көптөгөн окуучулар англис тилин үйрөнүп, андан ары чет өлкөгө тапшырууга умтулушат. Ошо мен да азыр Кытай мамлекети ошо технология тарабынан аябай өнүп жаткандыктан ошол жака тапшырууну пландаштырып жатам. Азыркы учурда ошо механикалык инженерия тарабына тапшырып, ошол жерден өзүмдү жакшы көргөзүп, кийин Кыргызстанга келип, Кыргызстанды ошол сферада өнүктүрүүнү каалайм.
Биздин өзгөрүүдөгү саякатыбыз албетте муну менен эле чектелбейт. Анткени күн сайын жаңыдан башталган тарыхтын ичинде жашайбыз. Сиз да бул тарыхта өз ордуңузду ээлешиңизди күтөбүз.
Катышканыңыздар үчүн ыраазычылык билдиребиз. Ал эми урматтуу катышуучулар, экранда көрсөтүлгөн QR код аркылуу биздин баракчаларыбызга катталып, бүгүнкү иш-чарадагы сүрөт видеолорду баракчада көрсөтүлгөн ссылкадан ала аласыздар.
Thanks for watching. And while we are getting ready for the next part of our program, please pay attention to the QR code on the screen. It's a link to our social networks where you can find all the photos of today's conference.
Эми программабыздын дагы бир маданий бөлүгүнө өтөбүз. Манас дастаны кыргыз маданиятынын эң маанилүү бөлүгү болуп саналат. Кулаалы таптап куш кылган, курама жыйып журт кылган Айкөл Манас баянынан үзүндү айтуу үчүн сахнага Абдумомунова Назбике, Үсеналиев Алихан, Сарыгулов Саид окуучуларыбызды сахнага чакырып алалы.
We now move to another cultural highlight of the program. The Epic of Manas is a key part of cultural heritage, symbolizing history, identity, and collective memory. Today, we are proud to present a Manas performance by our talented students, Abdemamunova Nazbike, Usunalev Alihan, and Sarigulov Said.
Ezelkinin comuğu istese gelir orulu Erenin manas oroyu Engeleziyik çoğuru Ezelkinin kebinin Erenin manas jönünün eske salıp koyolu Jaşı menen karıksun Жалпы кыргыз барыксун Акыл алча ой чайкап Алтын тахта ханыксун Бешиктеги балыксун Белбек чейген чалыксун Дили менен кабылдап Тил билбеген дагуксун Чектен ашып табышы Чет аламдык жан уксун Адам улуу болгону Айны бастан ак уксун Адам эле укпастан айбан уксун, мал уксун Улуу сөз менен бабалар урпакка кылган санатты Уңгулойду тутунту ушундан алган сабактың эй Андан бери карата аламга алам жалганды Аты күчтүү убакыт алмаштырды аржанды Асманы сайган киндиге аскар сазга айланды Эмкен калса артыңда эскере жүрөр жомоксуң Жалган дүйнө кызыкка жаңалып келген коноксуң Жасаган эмгек бар болсо жалама мүздүү болотсуң Жасаган эмгек жок болсо жашоодо бекер коропсуң Уламалар кеп айткан укпасаң эмнеге айткан Улуулардын мурасын унутпасын деп айткан Урпактарга үлгү деп ушул жагын көп айткан Урпактарды сугарып учуу мере чыгарып Улантып айтам мен айтсам эй
Ошол кезде каникей көңүлү жаман бөлүнүп көзүнүн жашы төгүлүп көзү жаны от болуп ичи өрттөнүп жок болуп токтой албай желигип жеңеңдин ичи алака мөңкүп көз тартып азаптуу белги көрүптүр каңгайдан келген беш арам кабыланыма бир азап салат ко деп жүрүптүр олоңдой болгон кара чач төбөгөн ыктап түйүптүр ок өтпөгөн бадана төртөнү каптап кийиптир алтай минсе арыбас алыска жуука талыбас Манастын акула байтал бенин кулуну кара жылкы дулуну күрүчтөн күрмөк жем берип күндө терин ал чекен, арпадан аса жем берип ошолайда эле терин ал чекен. Ой, эй манасы сойор ошолтун чочуп койгонум, жагына толгонум, таң кашкайым сүргөндө, жерге жарык тийгенде акуланы токунуп, эргендиктай отуруп, карагаттай көзүнөн камчы бою жаш кетип, бүдөөсүндө көзүнөн бөлөк жаш кетип, кабыргасы сөгүлүп, кабылам кандай күндө деп оюсу ою бөлүнүп, кайран жеген каныштын кайра таазек болжобо кирип келди сабалап ошол көз каманның ана ортого. О, вулканик бейбака оксар дейп көп дейп, башы чел кам болуп, эрбеңдеги эки кол өйдө болуп, шал болуп, бүткүн бойду барысы кадимкидей нам болуп, чыңдай куйду чыркырап, жоо жарык барысы айбалта түшүп быркырап, кабылаңман сайынан катын баш кагышып, камыктар менен салышып, карарып күйүп бок чайнап, карантап шор кайнап, казылган чуңкур ор болуп, кайыткан мынча шор болуп, камаңда кармап турганда тоо көтөргөн акая жебеден мурун жеткени, ай көл манас батырдын орто салып өткөнүң ой.
О семете колонум, казылып жаткан орумдук, кайнаган кара жорундук, ит көтөргө жеримдук, ичим толо маңымдук, ат көтөргө жеримдук, айтып бүткүз бугумдук, жылынуу кең кең талас, жердин жайын айтайын, аргын кыргыз аралаш, элдин жайын айтайын, аркар кулжа кетпеген, төрдүн жайын айтайын, айланып каздар коночу, көлдүн жайын айтайын. О, аргын кыргыз ичинде отурмалдан жылкы көп, улуккандан тынчы көп, солуп жаткан уйку көп, жакасынан сырты көп, жашыгынан курчу көп, жанжыраткан ырчы көп, элдеринде салты көп, эркиленген марты көп, арамдарын көрсөткөн алла канча дарты көп, карамалдан төсү көп, карды салып күйсү көп, боз коюндун түлкү көп, борсуллаган күлкү көп, айбалтадан кылыч көп, айранынан кымыз көп, азганакай кыргызда аша турган шыбыш көп, карайкалың жери көп, калаң жолбош жери көп, акматадан мадат көп, атадан калган салат көп, өзүн сусу көп, өдөк жүрөк кузу көп, каркылдаган казы көп, каз ойногон сазы көп, арашы жок бечил көп, айтышканга чечен көп, кайсы бирин айтайын, айтылбаган нечен көп, аксакалын жайкалтып, аса сүйлөп наркайтып, уламыштап кеп айтып, улуу сөздөн бек айтып, чалара сонун кыргыздын ак элечек салынган, актыгына теңирдин арубакта багынган, көк элечек салынган, көкө теңир эгемдеп, көкөрөктөн багынган, күңгүрүлөп күнөнүп, күмүш сөзү сүйлөнүп, ошо кемпир менен чалдар сонун кыргыздын эй. Айдай жүзү көрүнгөн, ажарынан кыздардын, айдын нуру төгүлгөн, күндөй жүзү көрүнгөн, кол менен өздөп сүйлөсө, күндүн нуру көрүнгөн, кыздары сонун кыргыздын, багылайын кулунум, сенин атаң Эрманас, делеги тең болгон, теңдеши жок шер болгон, акмаралайда буйгулган, аяламны буйгулган, көкмаралайда буйгулган, көрүнгөн жерди буйгулган, кечера кыттай зор болуп, кайран кыргыз кор болуп, оңмон кыттай зор болуп, обулку кыргыз кор болуп, төбөбүстөн басканда, түртүлүгүн чачканда, төгөрөктүн төрт бурчун, төрөсүңнү кыргыздар, төрт айланып качканда, бирин айдап Алтайга, бирин айдап Эреңге, бирин айдап келгенде, капкайдагы тереңге.
Мадали, кол чайлар болсун.
Thank you for your wonderful performance.
Урматтуу балдар, кеп кое отурабыз. Рахмат. Рахмат. Кадырлуу катышуучуларыбыз, жакында гана Сапат эл аралык билим берүү мекемесинин окуучулар арасында манас айтуу кароо сынагы болуп өткөн. Мына ошол кароо сынактын жеңүүчүлөрү азыр бул жакта турушат.
This spring, a Manas recitation contest was held among the students of Sapat Lyceums. These students you see on the stage are the winners of that competition.
Мына ушул Манас айтуу кароосунун жеңүүчүлөрү болгон ушул окуучуларыбызга сыйлыктарды тапшырып коюу үчүн Түркия Майли фондунун окуу практикалык бөлүм башчысы урматтуу Шуле Тойронайымды бул жакка чакырып алалы.
We would like to invite the head of educational practices of Turkish Marif Educational Foundation, Miss Şule Töyran.
Манас айтуу кароосунда 3-орунду ээлегендиги үчүн Muratbek Сабанкожаев мектебинин окуучусу Сарыгулов Саид.
The third place goes to Sargulov Said.
Манас айтуу кароосунда 2-орунду алгандыгы үчүн Манас ата мектебинин окуучусу Үсөналиев Алихан.
The second place goes to Alihan Usanaliyev.
Манас айтуу кароосунда 1-орунду ээлегендиги үчүн Зуура Нурматова мектебинин окуучусу Абдумомунова Назбике.
And the winner of the contest, Nazbike Abdumamunova.
Азаматсыңар жалпыбыз бир сүрөткө чөйлү, анан орундуктарын ордун алалы. Ресим чекелип кожо. Балдар кетпейт. Сүрөткө чыкпай алды, сүрөткө. Рахмат.
Let's cheer them up.
Рахмат. Кол чабуулар болсун биздин сыймыктуу окуучуларыбызга. Урматтуу катышуучулар, программабыздын эң маанилүү бөлүгүнө келдик. Lesson study боюнча эл аралык адис Жапония мамлекетинин Сидзуока университетинин профессору доктор Тецуо Кураматону сахнага чакырып алалы.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now move to one of the key moments of our program, the keynote session. And it is a great honor to introduce our distinguished speaker, Professor Tetsuo Kuramoto from Kyushu University, Japan.
Good morning. I'm Tetsuo Kuramoto from Japan, and I'm a board member of Curriculum Association in Japan. So today is very, very honored to join here, attend here. We can collaborate, lesson study knowledge, information, and experience with 3 countries. Thank you very much for the invitation. Can I keep speaking English like this? Right? No problem, right? All right. Okay, so today I have 45 minutes, so I am going to talk about discuss school-wide lesson study, the perspective of learning study and knowledge management. So this is a topic today. I have 45 minutes this morning. Japan has lesson study history more than 100 years, but since we have long history, our system is not flexible. But I'm sure Kazakhstan, Turkey, and Kyrgyzstan, I'm sure you are very flexible, you have diversity, and you are developing so quickly. So I respect your country's development, and from today, hopefully we can keep in touch, and we can collaborate each other, and we can be a good partners. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is my book. I said curriculum management, lesson study, and teacher management, but this meaning is a school-wide lesson study. So today's key point is, what is school-wide lesson study? Okay, I want to tell my conclusion on the first, since just I have 45 minutes. And first level is here, how to teach student, how to develop the student personality and academic. Second circle is how to develop the teacher's development and lesson study. Sometimes people think lesson study is just learning study, like a teaching subject, mathematics, science, music, art. Yes, lesson study is a further learning study, but at the same time, lesson study is for the teacher's training. So lesson study has two meanings. And one more, third level is collaboration between school and community. So I am going to explain about this example as social study and using ICT, and that's a lesson study on the second level. Third is, I am from Minamata City. It's sad, but that's very sad. My hometown has ocean pollution. That's very famous as ocean pollution. Then when I was teacher, I had to face a problem, social issue. So I can tell how I did or how we did associate with society, teachers and students. That's my conclusion. All right. Okay. First, what is school-wide lesson study and learning study? Our mission, by the way, please raise your hand if you are a school teacher. If you are a school teacher, please raise your hand. Thank you very much. So today, I am going to focus on what is practice level, more than theory. So something like this. Anyway, when I was a school teacher, I am professor now, I'm 63 years old, but when I was young, I was a school teacher, and I was teaching at my community, and Minamata disease. I am going to explain what was Minamata disease later, but first, please understand the curriculum, okay? Our lesson study education goal was students are proud of Minamata City. Minamata City has huge, serious ocean pollution problem, so we are citizens, we are not proud of anything. So we are from Minamata City because we were discriminated at that time, 1960s, 70s, 80s. So as teacher, we thought we need to develop the curriculum. Minamata learning, we call Minamata learning, and the student needs, subject needs, and community needs. Community means Minamata disease issue. So, okay, then for the lesson study, what is most important? Sometimes people ask me what is most important for lesson study. Always my answer is, what is your education goal? What is lesson study education goal? That's the most important at the practice level. So I said, I said our lesson study education goal was student can improve self-esteem and identity. That's the point. Okay, this is my hometown, Minamata City. That's a beautiful city, right? No pollution. But seriously, we have a pollution issue, ocean pollution. That's a structure. Before I can explain what is lesson study, I will explain about Minamata disease issue, okay? And I was born here, and the company dumped mercury into the ocean, poisoned the ocean, poisoned the mercury into the Minamata Bay. Then fish ate the poisoned mercury, then people cut the fishes, and we got poison damage, something like this. This is a symptom of Minamata disease. When I was a kid, when you got Minamata disease, basically brain got damaged by mercury, poisoned mercury. So for instance, if I'm a Minamata disease patient, I have holes in the brains. Then I can't move, I feel pain. The typical case is this, something like this. Probably My grandpa was bad, but grandpa was hiding because we are afraid of discrimination issue. So as a citizen of Minamata, we have serious problem. Other one is, she's also a famous person. She was born as mother was ill, mother got pregnant. So mother wanna produce, hopefully she can be healthy baby. So mother eat a lots of fishes, but we didn't know at that time what is the reason why we are getting the Minamata disease. So mother ate a lot of fishes, which means a lot of poison, right? But when she was born, could be 1 year, 2 years, she was kind of longest, 10 years, then died. Serious problem we had in my hometown. Okay, that's a demonstration. Patients and company always fighting, suing each other. When I was a kid, 7, 6, 10 years old, I was very, very afraid my town. Always scary. That's my kid's day, right? Of course, I'm going to talk about lesson study. And then, that's a demonstration, that's a Chisto company who caused a problem. This is a Minamata Day. All right, then, when I become teacher, adult, right, I was 20s, so we want to teach all kids, including adult, us, we need to be proud of our hometown. We need to increase identity and self-esteem. That's the issue when I was teacher. So she was a serious Minamata disease patient, but she came to our school. She gave us lecture. She said, I'm very proud of I'm Minamata disease patient because I could come to school, I could explain as a messenger human right and ecology issue. So I'm not ashamed of my body because I have God issue. I can explain as a messenger human right, environmental issue or something like this. So kids are very happy about that. That's a beginning of motivation. I can say internal learning motivation. We got that from the lecture. Then one student said, they are my student at the time, maybe they are 50s now, but at that time, they said, teacher is me, teacher, our main road, Route 3. Route 3 is covered with weed. People might think Minamata is still very dirty. This is not good. So let's plant flowers. They said that. And I want to explain more and more, but no time. So this is a kind of occupational practice. This is a social study, art, and I think it was art too. So we use a lot of different subjects to combine to reach the goal. Every kid needs to be proud of our hometown. And it's no shame. We can change, we can improve, right? Then self-esteem, keyword was self-esteem and identity and internal learning motivation. Okay. Then this is also interesting. Do you know Nagasaki City or Hiroshima City in Japan? Atomic bomb, right? So that's a famous issue, but from the perspective of school education, Nagasaki City and Hiroshima City are very popular for peace education. So this is Nagasaki City. So we had an exchange idea. Nagasaki City school presented about peace education, and our school presented human rights, ecology, and environmental issue. It was a very good exchange the idea. That's the first level, okay? I said first, second, third. So I explained the first level, how we can teach students. To teach students, what is most important? Education goal. What kind of student do you want to do that for the student? That's the first level. Next is lesson study. Excuse me, I'm kind of thirsty, excuse me. I have 45 minutes, right? Okay, so this is the second level. Sometimes people think lesson study is subject teaching, but it's not. Yes, partly yes, but lesson study is for the professional learning community for teachers and how we can develop the teacher's skill. That's a lesson studies idea. So this is the second level, second circle. So after that, it was not me, but I used a picture. When I was a school teacher, we did many stuff, many activities. But if you don't reflect yourself, students, they might lose their activities. So reflection is very important. So this is like reflection time in language art. So I did it, presentation lesson class, okay? Now these are not me, but almost like that. So this situation is, many you know that, a student is here, they are reflecting their activities, and other teachers watching, observing what I did. Then after that, they make comment about my practice, my lesson, my achievement for the students, right? And today, since we have history about lesson study, one suggestion is, why don't you adapt this idea into your country's lesson study, Seki model. The Seki model is knowledge management theory. First, socialization, externalization, combination, internalization. Why we say Seki model? S-E-C-I. That's why we said Seki model. Okay, I want to explain lesson study and Seki model together. Okay, first, socialization. When teacher observed my lesson, after that, they made a memo. They said, yeah, teacher Kuramoto was good or bad, you know. He was very active, but he didn't think about student very much. It's not enough or something like this. Well, I appreciate his work because he brought the student to Nagasaki and exchanged the idea. It was a great idea to exchange peace education and human rights or something like this. So they are making memo first. We call this stage socialization. Next stage, externalization. Externalization is not individual work. We can be a team, group A, group C, group D. Then we can work like that here. For instance, this is very typical. About teacher. Teacher minus area, teachers minus, teachers plus, student minus, student plus. So we can divide into these category, we can make the idea, and after that, many teachers, maybe 30 to 50 teachers observed my lesson, they made a memo like this, then they organize the type of stuff. Then teachers plus, teachers minus, student plus, student minus. So at that time, 30 years ago, but they said, teachers plus, yeah, Kuramoto took students to Nagasaki, especially to understand peace education. It was great. But at the same time, sometimes he forgot student who can't present very well. So he has to pay attention individually more or something like this. So this is very typical for socialization, and this is externalization. This is the externalization stage. Next, combination and internalization. Combination means if you have 5 groups, group A, group B, C, D, E, each group needs to present like, okay, 2 minutes. You can explain after externalization. Then every group presenting for 2 minutes each. So when I was school teacher, I was chief of lesson study. I said, okay, please teachers present. Then I'm listening and 5 presentation. Now this is the time. We need to create school theory. What is school theory? For the Minamata learning. So other teachers said, yes, our issue is we need to proud of our hometown more. Then we need to increase identity, self-esteem, and internal learning motivation. These are our school theory, something like this. So my most important job is I need to listen 5 presentation, then I need to organize to create a school theory. That's combination. So if you have lesson study in your school, one of the key is the leadership. Who has leadership to organize whole school idea or something like this? Okay, then with a combination. But biggest issue, I said biggest issue too many, but anyway, biggest issue is internalization. Some young teacher says, okay, we created school issue, school vision, school level lesson study, but teacher Kuramoto, I don't know what to do. How I can adapt into my classroom, into my teaching, I don't know. Or, yes, I learn very well, so I can adapt in my teaching or something like this. So individual level, teachers individual level, how we can adapt school idea into your own practice, this is kind of difficult. So serious issue is internalization. Internalization was the biggest key. And my answer for that is leadership. If you have a good leader, principal, or curriculum leadership, or chief of lesson study, these guys' idea, attitude, something like this, that's very important for that internalization process. Okay. And how many minutes I have? I forgot. 20 minutes more? Okay. And for the internalization, this is one of the suggestions too. Nowadays, Professor Luce is going to present about AI, ICT, so he's a specialist. I'm such a beginner. But ICT is a kind of key. So especially for my case, Minamata learning, exchange idea between Nagasaki City and us was very great, but I didn't know individual process, individual achievement, individual student needs. So I have to understand not 140 students. I need to understand individual student needs, individual student achievement. That's the point to me. So this is my suggestion is individual lesson plan. Individual lesson plan. We teachers, doesn't matter, elementary, junior high, high school, university, individually we need to understand the student achievement and needs. So this is it. Then, for instance, student-centered lesson study. I want to say that. Student-centered lesson study. And or individual lesson plan. So individually, student can learn, student can write something their needs, achievement, or impression. But when I was a young teacher, like 30s, 20s, I had to write by myself, handwriting. It was too tough. So I couldn't keep continuing. But nowadays, look, we have ICT, computer information. Then nowadays, teacher asks individual teaching plan, students, please type your idea, your needs, and in 3 minutes, you can type something like this. Then we can study together. When I finish that class, okay, how did you change? You can type again or something like this. When I was young, I had to write something this, so I didn't like it. Individual teaching plan, that's too much. So principal, please forgive me, it's too hard. I said that. But nowadays, okay, student can do this. So no problem for teachers. So my suggestion is this, student-centered lesson study. Individual lesson study plan is very good. Effect for 2025, 2026, I think. And like that. Student-centered lesson study, individual lesson plan means input. When you start the teaching class, I said this is social study. Okay, just few minutes. Okay, after coming back from Nagasaki school trip, what did you think? Your trip, your presentation there, what did you learn? Then they can type, if it's nowadays. Then we have class, and after that, very, very end, 3 minutes left. Then, okay, in 3 minutes, you can type, what did you think again? Then after that, we can compare input and black box and output. So we can compare between input and output. So this is a good idea for 2026 lesson study. So lesson study is for the teachers and for the student. If you adopt this idea, I can say student-centered lesson study, individual lesson plan, I think. Okay. And one more. Can I have 10 minutes more? Yes, all right. Now I explain the school level. I said school-wide lesson study. So I was talking about school organization level. Now national level, a little bit. And then national curriculum and lesson study. 2024, I had a great opportunity to present at Kazakhstan an integrated research lesson study and curriculum study perspective from United States, Japan, and Kazakhstan. In Kazakhstan, I presented with Tadiliya together. It was very great memory. It was a wonderful time. Actually, it was a homework from Tadiliya at that time. She said, I have to explain how you can combine curriculum study and lesson study. So, Kazakhstan, USA, Japan, USA, Catherine Lewis, she was president. She presented. Kazakhstan, Tadiliya presented. And Japan, I presented. That I don't know other countries' system very much, but at least I can say top-down system is that's necessary. National curriculum, state curriculum, we need that, of course. But at the same time, we have lesson study, research schools, research school for lesson study or something. We focus on lesson study this much, then how we can combine top-down and bottom-up. Then we can manage up and down learning system. Then one answer from Japan, Japanese case, I don't know other country very much, but Japanese case is this. We have lesson study research schools, probably over the nation, hundreds, 200s, we have a lot of lesson study research schools. And one more thing is, each subject, mathematics, science, language, music, PE, each kind of subject, we have lesson study examiner. The lesson study examiner visiting lesson study research schools over the nation. Then we can get the idea to tell the course of study, national curriculum, Ministry of Education. So we need to follow the Ministry of Education's idea. It's a legal issue. But at the same time, how we can provide the bottom-up system? Our idea is research lesson study schools and lesson study examiner. Then we can do the top-down, bottom-up, we can manage together, up-down system, okay? And one more thing, this is very typical in my country, Japan. I am teaching a master program for the in-service teachers and the PhD and EDD, especially dissertation examiner. So, and that system, I am teaching at the local school now, but a few years ago, I was teaching at National University, Yokohama National University. Then that system is, one is, Ministry of Education has Teacher Training Center, that's a top. Ministry of Education has Teacher Training Center. So we have 47 prefectures. Each 47 prefecture has own education center here. And when I was teaching at Yokohama National University, we are here. So we have triangle, Ministry of Education, Board of Education, and national universities. That we call triangulation system. The purpose is to train the principals. Leadership education is most important. If you want to change the school, yes, individual teacher as lesson study is very, very important, of course. But at the same time, simultaneously, we need to train the principal leaders. So leadership education is very effective. So for that, we have a triangulation system. So how we can combine top-down and bottom-up? Our answer is this: school study, lesson study research schools, and lesson study examiner. That's one of the answer. And second is we have triangulation system, Ministry of Education, Board of Education, and the national universities. Then we can provide teacher training system and master in-service teacher training, something like this today, and for the doctor degree program too. Okay, now that's conclusion. Can I have 5 minutes? Okay, 5 minutes? All right. That's conclusion. When I started, I said, today's keyword is school-wide lesson study. School-wide lesson study. Sometimes people think lesson study is just teaching subject. It's not. Yes, that's a part of it, yes. But lesson study means for teacher training. So teacher training means you need to improve whole school. The whole school improvement is first level, student improvement. I explain like this. Second level, teachers training, lesson study, how we can develop the teaching skill. Third level, I explain the Minamata disease issue. Yes, so how we can connect collaboration between school and community. Then once we learn this idea and lesson study and the teaching program, we try to change, improve the Minamata disease community. Of course, we have limitation, but at least we can try, then we can improve our identity and self-esteem. That's the purpose. So lesson study is not small. We can change the society. We can change the school. That's a lesson study. Okay, so will you get this please? I have a few minutes more. Okay, few minutes. 3 minutes. Thank you. Okay, please, you might, sorry about this. This is PDF, so I can't do this here. Hopefully I could have PowerPoint, but anyway. So please log in and please get the answers, please. Can I go next one? Is that okay? The reason I'm asking you is school-wide lesson study, learning study, assessment. So you might get this. Here, this is a structure of lesson study. For the lesson study, important thing is, as a school, official school, lesson study is a system. But at the same time, individual teacher has own learning. So how we can combine individual teachers' own learning plus school system? That's a lesson study structure. This is school management. Then, yes, I asked this. Curriculum management, which means school-wide lesson study assessment, question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 15. So if you are interested in that, please remember this site and access. For instance, one research school, this 2024, when they started lesson study, it was blue, but after 1 year, 2025, they improved like this. So let me repeat again, lesson study is not for only teaching subject, lesson study is for the school improvement and community improvement. Lesson study is very powerful tool for our teachers. Thank you very much.
Маанилүү жана пайдалуу маалыматтар үчүн Тенсо Куромото мырзага ырашып билдирүү үчүн Түркия Майры фондунун директорлор кеңешинин мүчөсү Ахмет Түркменди сахнага чакырабыз.
Thank you, Professor, for your inspiring speech. We invite Ahmed Turkben to the stage to give Professor Kuromoto a small token of memory. Thanks a lot.
Эми программабыздын кийинки бөлүгүнө панелдик талкууга өтөбүз. Бул бөлүк терең талкуу жүргүзгө жана пикир алмашууга жакшы мүмкүнчүлүк түзөт. Бүгүнкү панелдик талкуубуздун темасы технология бизди бириктирет, кызматташтык бизди өнүктүрөт деген аталышта болот. Бул сессияда технология менен кызматташтыктын айкалышуу, окутуу тажрыйбасы жана мугалимдердин кесиптик өнүгүүсү кантип жакшыртылары талкууланат.
We now shift to our panel discussion which will provide an opportunity for deeper dialogue and exchange of ideas. The title of the panel is Technology Unites Us, Collaboration Helps Us Grow. This session will explore how technology and collaboration can work together to enhance teaching and professional development.
Панелдик талкуунун модератору, Түркия Майыр фондунун Кыргызстандагы академиялык иштер боюнча координатору Рахми Орал мырза.
The discussion will be moderated by Mr. Rahmi Oral.
Биздин урматтуу панелисттер, Назарбаев интеллектуалдык мектептеринин автономиялык билим берүү уюмунун төрагасы Анвар Жангозин.
Our distinguished panelists are a chairperson of a board of autonomous educational organization, Nazarbayev Intellectual Schools, Mr. Anwar Jangozin.
Назарбаев университетинин профессору Дүйшөн Шаматов.
Professor of Nazarbayev University, Mr. Dushan Shamatov.
Professor Dr. Tetsuo Kuramoto.
Professor at Shizuoka University of Art and Culture, Mr. Tetsuo Kuramoto.
Matsuyama университетинин профессору Брюс Лендер.
And Professor at Matsuyama University, Mr. Bruce Lander.
Модераторлорубуз жана панелдик талкуунун катышуучулары жалпыңыздарга ийгилик каалайбыз.
Welcome our participants on the stage.
First of all, I'd like to thank a lot to everyone who participated to this event. It's great honor for us to host you all from Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Turkey. And I also would like to thank a lot for the dear guests. They have come from far away, from Japan, from Kazakhstan. And totally, I believe that I'd like to say a few words before I start. I'm from Turkey. Mr. Anwar is from Kazakhstan. Mr. Dushan is from Kyrgyzstan. Mr. Tetsuo is from Japan. And Bruce Lander is from Scotland. So this is definitely the united colors of education. Thank you all for coming here. Thank you. As Bruce also comes in here, so he will join us. We can start, okay? So today we're going to have a panel, and in this panel I'm going to direct some questions to the dear guests in here. And we are going to have two rounds. In the first round, I will ask you one question. The first question, you may answer it in 2 minutes, right? And then after that, I will follow up one more question if needed, or then I will continue with the next. So if you don't mind, I'd like to start with Mr. Anwar. So Mr. Anwar, thank you very much for joining this event and welcome here. So my first question is, so all systems are for students, teachers, parents, for the community. But my question is, as the system level in here, who benefits most from lesson study? Who benefits most from this system? And how does it contribute to school and national education improvement?
So the question is about benefits, yeah?
Yes, who benefits most from the system?
Well, I think we have to speak about benefits for all the levels. And of course, from lesson study, first of all, students, they benefit a lot. Because lesson study in general is not only about teaching, it's about understanding and learning, yeah, if you want. So by these students, they actually receive different teaching approaches, yeah, which develop not only knowledge but skills, which is very important nowadays. Yeah, 21st century skills we speak about quite a lot, but how to develop them. So lesson study, from my point of view, first of all, helps to develop different approaches, yeah, to use different approaches and develop these skills. And by this, students, they receive clearer lesson tasks, lesson objectives, more meaningful dialogue with teacher between themselves, yeah, which is very important as well. For teachers, I think there are some clear benefits as well, because lesson study helps to switch from in terms of the professional development, from theory to practice-based inquiry for teachers, yeah, where they actually can try different methods, they can probe them and find out which suits them best, and then use it in daily practice, yeah. First for schools, which Mr. Kuramoto showed that socialization is a good impact of lesson study. Yeah, so for schools it helps to create culture of professional learning community and good culture and common language of the quality. Yeah, so what we understand as a good quality lessons. Yeah, so I think for schools it's best benefit, and then on a system level, actually for ministries and maybe on the local level, yeah, it also helps to switch professional development from just scaling some programs to scaling best practices, yeah? So lesson study as an approach, as it's school-based, as it's scalable, sustainable tool, I think it's a brilliant example of approach which can be scaled up on the system level with saving the quality, and as it's a school-based approach, it can be work and it can be introduced in practice in every school, yeah?
I have another question about this. When I go to a school, I see that this school is using this system. So there are some visibles, images that you can understand it from there. How can we understand? So how do these benefits become visible in a school if they are using lesson study there?
Well, I think personally when I visit some different schools, and if the school introduces lesson study, or in general, if the school has the right culture, they start to ask another type of questions. They don't ask whether the particular lesson was good or bad. They ask what actually students received from this lesson. Yeah, what kind of knowledge, what kind of skills were developed in particular lessons. And when we see this switch on questions, yeah, which kind of questions they start to ask each other and themselves, I mean, teachers and school administration, I think this is the first example of clear example of introducing right culture in the school, and that school moves in the right direction in terms of the understanding of what is quality education is about.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Dushan Shamato, may I ask you? So you have experience everywhere, and you have experience in teaching. The biggest question about teaching and learning is the agency. So who is the agent of this learning? The teachers, the students, who are they? And so my question is, how does lesson study influence teacher agency, professional judgment, and the way teachers approach to their practice?
Salamastarva. I think this is a very powerful question, and I think it goes to the heart of the lesson study actually, because it's really about who makes a decision, and the teacher agency or professional judgment of teachers is the central part of lesson study. Imagine there is a lesson study makes a shift from more traditional, individual, routine-based practices of the teachers to more collaborative and inquiry-driven practice, in which teachers themselves, they plan, they design their lessons, they conduct the lessons, and they make a decision on their own practices to further improve, rather than waiting for the instructions from the top. In a way, teachers themselves have really started respecting their own judgments, and they are empowered. But when teachers are empowered, ultimate beneficiaries are students, because students will benefit and they learn, but also a teacher who is really empowered teacher, or teachers who have agency, instead of doing just routine work, if teachers are really reflective practitioners, then they will be treating their students as independent learners, critical thinkers. So it's in a way, both students, teachers are really promoters of this agency. They have agency, but the students are the beneficiaries of this process.
Thank you. And the next question is, so you mentioned about a shift. There is a change on teachers' attitudes, practices, experience. How does this shift happen? Does it happen quickly, or does it require time?
No. It doesn't it doesn't happen immediately.
Come on, it should be.
No. There is no magic. Unfortunately, or fortunately, there is not immediate effect. Although some people would like to make a mysteriously to make immediate impact, but in reality, it doesn't take place. It's a process. It's a learning process, and sometimes some teachers might be even a little bit frustrated. But the main thing is that never give up, and because by working together with other teachers, you bounce ideas, you learn from each other, and they both try to improve, and then you start seeing the benefits when eventually you start enjoying working with others. And also you see that whatever you are doing, you are improving your own practice. It will take place, but a little bit patience.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your answers. Yes, this is Tetsuya Kuromoto.
Thank you.
Can you hear me? Is it on? Yeah, okay. So I think you are the most experienced person in this hall with,
I hope so.
in terms of age and in terms of experience of teaching as well. Thank you very much for being with us, and thank you very much for sharing your practice and experience. So from your perspective, what is the fundamental purpose of lesson study? So what's the main reason of that? So there are many studies or researches and what makes it uniquely powerful compared to other forms of professional development and maybe for methodology also?
Okay, thank you very much for asking question. I was born there, Minamata disease community. So to be honest, we are discriminated by people around us, to marriage or to get job or something. So we couldn't proud of our hometown. We couldn't proud of ourselves. Even though I'm saying I am from Minamata town, I feel pressure even now. So anyway, that's an educational issue. So we need to change the community, but as a teacher, we want to raise students. They have identity, self-esteem, and being proud of our hometown. Now it's recovered, it's becoming beautiful, but still we are shy to say we are from Minamata. That's education reason. So as a school teacher, use lesson study, change the school, change the community. That's a great motivation at the beginning. So we created a school goal. School education goal was, let's proud of us. We need to learn hometown Minamata. It was our beginning of curriculum. So yes, for lesson study, first we need to create common educational lesson study education goal. That's a very, very important, I think, from my experience. And what's the difference from other professional learning community or something? Lesson study is a kind of official in Japan. For instance, can I still talk? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. When I was school teacher long ago, but I was chief of lesson study. So April was beginning the month of the year, school year. So I had to create year plan for lesson study. Like I need to ask maintenance, young teacher A, will you do this lesson study demonstration for all of us? June 20th. Will you do this for lesson study as veteran teachers? So I need to ask the teachers to make a year schedule. Then like Wednesday afternoon, that's lesson study time. So we had to organize. This is pretty much common in Japan. So we need to set a time, we need to work together. Everybody has to join the lesson study.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's our system.
I had a small tricky question to you. Because it was last year when I met lesson study, and after some time I thought that I know many things about lesson study. Now when I talk to people like you, experienced, I feel like I know nothing about lesson study.
No, you're professional. You're professional.
So what's mainly misunderstood about the purpose of lesson study and teachers that you saw? What's mainly misunderstood here?
Misunderstanding lesson study? Okay. Of course, everybody likes lesson study. It's not true. Some teachers, especially when I was 30s, veteran teacher was against me. Hey, young guy, are you do this? That kind of stuff. So lesson study works, but depend on people, depend on age, experience, not like beautiful way. So as a lesson study teacher, I had to arrange other stuff, So lesson study is not the perfect. It's not the perfect, but
thank you.
That's important. Yes,
thank you very much. Thank you so much. Yes, Mr. Bruce Lander.
Hello. Yes.
Hello. So your microphone works.
My
correct?
microphone works. We'll get feedback if we use this. I'm going to switch this off.
Oh, yours work. Oh,
It's
Off.
work.
It's
now
working.
working. Now working.
Okay.
Yes. I'd like to ask you a question from the international perspective, because you are coming from totally different countries, so a part of the world.
Yeah.
And now you have been working in Japan
Yeah.
for longer than 20 years.
More than half of my life.
Okay, more than half of
I
it.
may look
That's
young,
right.
but I'm not so young.
Yes, you are young. And from this international perspective, why is lesson study increasingly relevant in today's rapidly changing education landscape? And maybe I can ask that, is it still relevant also?
Is it still relevant?
And
Yes.
why, if it is so?
Well, firstly, Raimi, thank you for inviting me here today. I'm very happy to be here. Hello, everybody. Hello. Azar. Hello. So, yes, my name is Bruce, and I have lived in Japan for many years, but you may realize I'm not Japanese. I'm from Scotland in the UK, and I've lived and worked in Japan for 27 years. So I have a kind of deeper understanding of the cultural context there, and I've been working with lesson study for about 14, 15 years. So the question is lesson study still relevant today in this world of technology, digitalization of things, and lesson study as a collaborative exercise? So first, I think yes, it is, very much, very much. But what I wanted to say before that is that teaching in many countries is seen as an individual exercise, where when the doors of the classroom are closed, the teacher is by himself, by herself, teaching with very little help or support. That is not the case. Teaching should be a collaborative exercise, where we're working together, and I think the main point of lesson study is that we're working together, helping each other, supporting each other to improve a lesson. No lesson is ever perfect, no matter how good a teacher you are. No matter how good a football player, soccer player you are, you can always be better. And this is something deeply entwined in Japanese culture, and it's connected to, I think, Buddhism. And there's a cyclical process of lesson study you may be aware of called the PDCA cycle: planning, doing, checking, and acting. And this is a continual process where the lesson can always be better. And traditionally, without technology, it was very difficult to distribute this data to a widespread audience. But now with technology that we have, we can do that much faster, much quicker. And one reason why lesson study is becoming very much more international and popular around the world is because of IT, ICT. One of the areas I'm involved with lesson study is called transcript-based lesson analysis. And that uses the transcript of the research lesson as the main data source. And we can now use AI to transcribe a class. We can now use AI to summarize the main points in that class and make things a lot easier. It's a very long-winded process without AI or ICT. So yes, I think it is having an impact, but we are still learning what that impact is. AI is still in its infancy. I will talk a little bit about that later this afternoon.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm really happy to see that still relevant and still ongoing process.
Very much.
And the interest in this region, we can understand that it's still relevant because we invited many people and they have joined in here just to learn more about this methodology. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think we can start with the second round, and with Mr. Anwar Jangos, and I'm going to continue again. And until now, we are talking about the positive sides and how easy it is, how we can use it, and how beneficial process and methodology it is. Actually, I'd like to ask you another perspective and on this part, because I believe that there are challenges also. There must be some challenges in this part also. And what do you think, and what are the biggest challenges in scaling and sustaining lesson study within an education system and how can you address them? So what do you think are the biggest challenges of this system when we want to start using it?
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
It does work?
Yeah, it works now.
Okay. So in terms of challenges, well, probably first of all is lesson study as an approach. It depends on presence of motivated individuals in each of the school. Yeah. So if we have enough such motivated individuals, it will work perfectly and it will succeed. But if we don't have enough, then we may have problems. That's why I think in each of the school it should be somehow institutionalized, yeah, so that we have clear evidences of presence as a part of professional learning community. When we say that if we want to distribute professional learning community in some school, we have to have clear evidences like presence in timetable, yeah, that teachers they actually are meeting, they are discussing, they are planning together. Yeah, if there is no certain time in timetable, then you have no evidences that you actually have professional learning community and lesson study. Yeah, you have to have certain space allocated for these meetings. Yeah, because it's I think part of Soviet Union traditions that teachers they used to work individually, each in their classroom, plan something, do something, and there is lack of collaboration. And where is no collaboration, then there is no certain culture, and it's not institutionalized, and there is no certain background for lesson study. Yeah. In terms of workload, of course, teachers' workload is one of the. It might be one of the main obstacles. I personally had experience of teaching in my career, and it was, I would say, one of the most challenging experience, because in order to provide one good lesson, you have to plan it in 3-4 hours. Yeah, so I have my professor, Mr. Dushong, sitting here. So actually, my respect to him and to all the teachers, because it actually requests a lot of work. So again, if you collaborate with colleagues, it probably makes you easier to plan the lesson, to identify problems, and spend less time on the same kind of issues. Yeah. So the more institutional things we have, the better I think way to introduce lesson study and to prevent all the obstacles which may prevent you to use it as an approach.
Thank you. Actually, the teachers who have come here are really happy to have more works on their schools.
Yeah.
They're happy to get that.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask a small answer for this part. What do you think about the leadership at schools of these challenges? Sometimes, how can they avoid this learning study process? How can they stop this process to become a bureaucratic kind of process?
Yeah.
But suitable and available process.
Yeah, bureaucracy, I think, is one of the also key obstacles which may prevent distributing lesson study in the right way, because more reports you have, probably less right development you will have in the school. Yeah, there should be, of course, some level of bureaucracy. Yeah, because you have to report, you have to present some evidences to parents, to community. But to keep right balance, I think this is a key role of administration. How to find out this right level of bureaucracy, how to allocate right time, how to gather people around one problem, how to identify key problems, how to help people to solve these problems together. Yeah, I think in this regard, the key role of administration actually in this direction. Yeah, and if there are plenty of examples, if we have effective administration, school administration, they find ways to distribute right culture and to use right approaches and instruments. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Dushan. When I look at the lesson study process, the microphone works, does it? No, it doesn't. Can we get the normal microphone there? Mike? Sorry.
I am ready.
Yeah. Okay, here's now. When I look at the lesson study process, what is the most different part of it is the collaboration among teachers. Because in lesson study process, you cannot work alone. You cannot be an island. Okay, you have to be a part of the continent. So, but in this case, the trust and collaboration becomes the key factors of the schools. And how can schools create the conditions such as trust and collaboration necessary for lesson study to have a real impact on teaching and learning? How can they create this atmosphere?
Building collaborative culture is a big maybe I can move this one.
Technology.
Yes, collaborative culture is key. Building collaborative culture, safe culture for teachers, where teachers can work together, plan together. They also offer feedback to each other is not easy, especially if the school is not prepared. And I really liked what Professor Kuramoto also mentioned. The role of the school principal and in general, school leadership is key. School leadership can really create a safe environment, safe culture at the school. I would like to give a reference to the book of my professor, Andy Hargreaves, Changing Teachers, Changing Times. He actually analyzed different types of cultures. One of them is that some schools are highly individualized culture. Teachers come to school, go to their classrooms, and then they work in isolation. They rarely collaborate with each other. It's difficult to do lesson study with this. Also, there is another culture which is called Balkanization. He calls Balkanization. It's really groups of the teachers. They comfortably work in their subject groups or whatever groups they form. Maybe lesson study may work in small groups, but as a school, it is not really collaborative culture. But in order to build a collaborative culture where teachers feel safe to attend each other's lesson, because remember, lesson observation is kind of a tricky. Often teachers feel vulnerable. We teachers, we protect our classrooms. We don't feel comfortable when somebody enters our classroom. Why? Because we fear that they will find my mistake in my teaching. But lesson study really changes it, because by creating lesson study, your teachers are working together with a common goal. And that's really key, is that when the school knows the purpose of lesson study, that really when teachers work together, by working together, by collaborating, they see the benefits of it. It's not easy, but that school leadership and the school needs to create time. And Anwar, by the way, Anwar, I would like to return a compliment to Anwar. Anwar was my student at Nazarbayev University. He was a brilliant student at master's program.
Okay.
But now
he was your student there.
Yeah. He was a student,
Yeah,
but now
but
I
we
am
have-
proud of him now.
Okay, we have one more. I'm sorry for that. I'm giving this pose to you. Sorry for that. We have another student and teacher here on the stage. And so Mr. Bruce was also a student of Mr. Tetsuya Kuramoto. How lucky we are. We have to...
Wonderful, wonderful. But I would still like to make a compliment. Leonardo da Vinci said once, "Poor is the student who cannot surpass his teacher." Well, in the past, Anwar was proud. Dushon was. Nowadays, I often tell them, Anwar, who is the general director of 20 exemplary schools all over Kazakhstan, NIS schools, he is the general director, and I say, he is my student. So.
All right.
Did I answer your question?
Yes. How lucky you are. But I want to say one more thing, because when you go to a doctor, the doctor prescribes you something, but you want to ask something very tip that you can do practical things. Can you give me one practical step, practice? What can schools do to create this trust and collaboration at school? A practical application that they can do in their classrooms and schools.
I think Professor Kuramoto and Professor Dudley, they are much better in responding to this. But from my limited perspective, one small tip is that, of course, to read the books that excellent colleagues have written already. That's one tip. And also to talk to people who are already in Kazakhstan, excellent teachers, even in public schools. Often we say, no, public schools may not work, but you will see in the afternoon, even public school teachers are using lesson study very well. I would just go to them and talk to them and attend their classes. Maybe that would be the
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Yes, Mr. Kuromoto.
Yes.
When we start something new, we put it to the best place of our rooms, to the best place of the school, and we act it like the most important, the precious thing in the world. But after some time, so it becomes a routine. We see it, we get used to it, and it becomes something ordinary. My question is, what are the key indicators that lesson study is being implemented authentically rather than becoming a routine or formal requirement of the school?
Okay, thank you.
What are the
very much.
indicators of this?
Yeah, indicators. Yeah, I didn't use that very much because it was PDF, but the one indicator was, you could access the QR code, the indicator question 15. That's one of the indicators. For instance, we have a lot of lesson study research schools, so we need to show the improvement evidence data. Then that's a very common to use that kind of data, access, and every teacher has to respond. Like 2024 was like this, but after we did lesson study continuously, in 1 year we changed something like this. So try to get the data all the time. Then we can show the data, the graph, and we can discuss after the lesson study. That's a quantitative data analysis. But at the same time, qualitative analysis is important too. So like lesson study, we need to observe, then we need to feel, we need to discuss. And if I watch Bruce Lander, if he was teacher, I can observe and I should talk to him privately or officially in lesson study time. So anyway, what kind of indicator is important? Yes, qualitative data and quantitative data, both are important. Mixed data is very important key for the doctoral dissertation and yes, for the lesson study. It is enough answer?
Yes, that's true. But I'd like to ask you, when you go to a school, do you find some signs, some applications or some things that you see in this school?
Oh, yeah.
What are the signs that you see? Yes, this school
more
is doing
practical.
lesson study there.
More practical, right?
Yeah.
Not the dissertation, I'm sorry. Anyway, yes, we are teachers. And we are here for the students, even elementary, junior high, high school, university, or graduate students. We are teachers, so we need to we need to understand the student needs. That's why I said individual lesson plan, student-centered lesson plan, student-centered education. So we teachers, we need to have a good sense, antenna. We have good leader system. Then we need to feel individually. So we need to catch. After we did something lesson study, at least who changed, who improved, who is good for that. So my answer is teacher's responsibility to catch student improvement.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Of course, the teacher's agency and the teacher's reaction to any system, whether it is lesson study or another one, so is the key factor that we can get benefit more from there. Yes, Mr. Lander, last part of this second round, and my question goes to you that. And what are the key factors for successfully implementing lesson study across different contexts? So there are different contexts in this school, different subjects, and we need to implement lesson study not only for science, ICT, math, or geography, or any other, or can we apply them all? So what are the key factors for implementing lesson study across different contexts while the difficult part is this, I guess, while maintaining the quality and the impact, but implementing it at school in different contexts? How can the schools do this?
Wow, that's a long question.
Should I shorten it?
Okay. So, firstly, I'd like to repeat slightly what the panel has said already. So I think with lesson study, one of the key areas is leadership. And that leadership has to come from the top. And in Japan, they have a very fine link between the Ministry of Education, the boards of education in every town and city, and the schools and the universities. So all four of these institutions are deeply connected, and they come from the top. And it's that initiation which is important. The leadership of, shall we conduct a lesson study? Shall we continue with research? Because without that, it would never happen. Teachers are busy. We're all busy. I know that. But without that initiation, that step of someone in the school taking that leadership role to say, yes, we will focus on so-and-so subject here this month, so-and-so next month, and improve Kaizen, the continual improvement of that lesson, then it would never start. We're all busy. I know that. But you, Duishon, you mentioned a book by Hargreaves, was it? If I could mention a book today as well, one book which I think we should all read, it's called The Teaching Gap. The Teaching Gap. And The Teaching Gap was first published in 1999 by Stigler and Hebert. A second edition was made in 2009, and they focused on 3 countries, the US, Japan, and Germany, and on specifically maths education and how maths education was conducted in those 3 countries. So they went for 3 months to Japan, 3 months to Germany, 3 months to the US where they studied, and they found there, they discovered this magical collaborative exercise of lesson study in Japan. And one of the key areas they came across was, if we could conduct this around the world, it would change the world. It would change education around the world and have such a huge impact. And slowly that is happening. And they referred to 2 things. One is called the cultural code of learning. And the cultural code is the specific area of pedagogy that each teacher in each context would find and work, and find it would work well with their students, with their learners. And they would adapt that and use it elsewhere. And that's what they found with lesson study, that this was being done with cultural code, identifying what that code is. And they called it the DNA of teaching, the DNA of learning. They say that teachers from one area, one country, they say, would undoubtedly teach the way they were taught. And that would be a cyclical process. So no matter what generation you were born in, you would pretty much teach the same way. And changing teachers in one country would not really change the way pedagogy is conducted. But with cultural code, if we can identify what that perfect or that very good pedagogy is in one country and adapt it somewhere else, then you're having a big impact, a huge impact.
Yeah.
So the cultural code, the DNA of learning from Stigler and Hebert is hugely impactful. If there's any book that you could read, it should be The Teaching Gap. It's not so long and not so difficult to read.
Thank you. Thank you for this valuable suggestion.
Yeah.
So what is experience is the mistakes that the things that you learn from your mistakes, right? The experience is this.
Yeah.
Okay, because you make mistakes and you learn it from there.
Yeah.
And this becomes an experience. Now we have lots of experience on the stage now.
Yeah.
And I'd like to ask a slight question about this to you.
Yeah.
What mistakes should schools avoid during this implementation of this lesson study process at the beginning? What mistakes should they avoid? What do you see?
What mistakes? Okay, that's a good question. If I may speak a very little bit of Japanese, there's a good Japanese idiom, and it's called 失敗は成功のもと。失敗は成功のもと。But he understood. I don't think everybody else understood. It means basically we learn through mistakes. We learn through mistakes. And mistakes make you stronger. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that an institute could make is diving in to lesson study. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this lesson study from Japan. It's very big and impactful. Change the world, change the world. But the teachers have to understand it first. The teachers have to understand this. So it will take training exercises, train the teachers, and then they train other teachers. The butterfly effect will ripple, and then introduce it with a research lesson. And I think that's the problem in many countries around the world. They're diving in too deep, too quickly. They're down the river without a paddle, without support. The support network is very important.
Okay,
so
don't get afraid of making mistakes and dive in.
Yes.
The experience is this, right?
Right.
Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Yeah.
Okay, through to this panel, I asked the question and you had the chance to answer. But I'd like to give you the last chance to say, above the questions, beyond the questions, if you'd like to share anything with the audience in here, so what would your last sentence would be, and what would your last suggestion or feelings that, could you please share your last impression and the feelings that you'd like to share freely to the stage, to the conference hall here?
Well, I think my suggestion would be, or recommendation to all the schools, to promote asking questions, because if we want to develop a culture of inquiry, without questioning, it will not be actually distributed. So promote asking questions by your teachers, by your students. Don't put any limitations on this, because the more questions you have, the more opportunities you will have to find out right answers. And I think this is a key point for any approach, maybe lesson style or action research or any other. So asking.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Anna. Yeah, Mr. Dishon. I don't know what happens there, but when it comes to there, so something happens, even this microphone, that microphone, another microphone. You switched, okay, microphone. Technology doesn't have no problem.
Maybe my concluding remarks is really, especially to the younger colleagues who are starting their careers, whether it's a lesson study, whether any method or any approach you would like to start, is really to continuously learn, to continuously search for answers, but also do not be afraid of mistakes. But at the same time, I fully agree with Bruce. Deep learning, deep understanding is important, because we do not want the situation where lesson study becomes formality. Somebody from the top demands, are you doing lesson study? And without understanding, teacher says, yes, we are doing lesson study. Teachers will not have satisfaction and really benefit of it, because they'll be doing lesson study for somebody else. Really, my wish is that lesson study is for us, for each of us, and for our students. And one small remark is that sometimes competitive culture, and the school may create competitive culture for the winners among the teachers. Who is the good teacher? Good teacher is the one whose students are going to win Olympiad or some kind of a tests. Then how do you really, on the one hand, you are trying to create a culture of collaboration, on the other hand, competition. Maybe competition we cannot eliminate, but collaboration should be really, even competition can be healthy, but should be genuine collaboration. This is my final remarks.
Oh, thank you very much. This is one of the areas that I have to work on, so thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, Mr. Tetsuya.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, my last comment is, I appreciate, I respect your country's lesson study system. Like in he said, in Kazakhstan, lesson study started since 2012, something like this, which means just in 15 years, you developed so quickly, and of course, curious too. So we have long history, but some people, some teachers are against lesson study. Some said yes, someone said no. So to organize lesson study system in Japan is not so beautiful. Always we have problem. But in Kazakhstan, in just 15 years, whole nation do lesson study or something like this, right? Amazing. So I want to study why it works in your countries and why it doesn't work in my country. So my tentative answer is we have a long history. That's why we don't improve anymore. So we reach something, So anyway, so I respect, I appreciate, I want to study from your system. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Bruce.
Hey, Thank you, Kuramoto Sensei.
Thank you.
Hi. So, yeah, I would like to end with a few words of support, some advice. But firstly, I'd like to comment on what Duishon mentioned. He said that I think as teachers, we're all afraid to open our doors, to be observed, because we fear evaluation, we fear criticism. We think someone in the class is taking note of everything I do wrong, and I will lose my job, our salary cut. It's not like that. That is one of the big hurdles of lesson study. So I think my advice would be, don't be afraid. Open your doors. Learn together, and we can support each other.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, we have come to the end of this panel. Thank you very much for joining us and for being with us. Before we finish this session, I think we are going to invite some guests. So thank you very much, and for joining us, being a part of this organization. Thank you. Please come here.
Маанилүү жана пайдалуу маалыматтарыңыздар үчүн ыраазычылык билдиребиз. Бүгүнкү панелдик отурумдун спикерлерине ыраазычылык билдирүү үчүн Түркия Майриф фондунун Кыргызстанда өкүлү урматтуу Хусну Биржан мырзаны сахнага чакырып алалы.
Thank you, dear panelists. We highly appreciate your contribution, and we would like to invite Mr. Husnu Birjan, the representative of Mari Foundation.
Ыраазычылык билдирүү үчүн Анвар Жангазин мырза. Дүйшөн Шаматов мырза. Tetsuo Kuramoto мырза. Брюс Лендер мырза. Сыйлыктарыңыздар болсун, жалпы эми ортого туруп сүрөткө чыкпайлы.
Before we take the picture, can I say a few words? Sorry for that. I'd like to talk about this certificate. On this certificate, it's written that, Dear Professor Bruce Lander, in recognition of your contribution to the Lesson Study Conference, a tree has been planted in the US school garden in your name. Now, you have 4 trees in Kyrgyzstan, in Bishkek, in one of our schools, and you can visit. The trees, you can look at the trees there. Those trees are planted in your name. And thank you for contributing to this effort to leave a more green and livable world for future generations. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'd like to take a selfie before you leave this stage. Can I? Yes. Can I leave? Can I take it? Oh, okay. Let's look at the background.
Бүгүнкү ишараны уюштурууда өзгөчө салым үчүн Назарбаев интеллектуалдык мектептеринин автономиялык билим берүү уюмунун төрагасынын орун басары Жанбота Кабдыкаримованы сахнага чакыруулалы.
We would like to invite here two more persons whose active participation made this event possible. It is Janbata Kabdikarimova, Deputy Chairperson of the Autonomous Educational Organization, Nazarbayev Intellectual Schools.
Сыйлығыңыз құтты болсын. Назарбаев интеллектуалдық мектептерінің автономиялық білім беру ұйымының педагогикалық чебершілік борборының директорының орынбасары Ажар Кожабаевандағы сахнаға шақырып алалы.
And the Deputy Director of the Center of Excellence of Autonomous Educational Organization, Nazarbayev Intellectual Schools, Ajar Kojabayeva.
Сыйлықтарыңыздар құтты болсын. Ыраазычылык билдиребиз. Орындуктардан орун алсаңыздар болот. Анда эмес, урматтуу бүгүнкү отурумдун катышуучулары, саат 12:15тен саат 13:15ке чейинки аралыкта түшкү тыныгуу убактысы берилет. Түшкү тамактануу убактысынан тышкары постерлерди дагы баалоо иш-чаралары жүргүзүлөт. Андан тышкары эсиңизге сала кетүүчү нерсе, түшкү тамактануу жана воркшоптор Ала Тоо университетинин Д блогунда жүргүзүлөт. Программабыздын экинчи бөлүгү саат 16:00 кайрадан ушул жерден уланат.
So, thank you all for participation. We would like to remind you that now it is time for lunch. It will take 1 hour from 12:15 till 13:15. And before the break, I would like also to remind you about the workshops in Block D that will take place from 1:15 till 3:15.